Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. This is my Aaron Rodgers impression Perna. Who looks more like a serial killer, me, Rodgers, or Jared Leto? Today, I'm gonna dive into the biggest overreactions from this week and debunk or agree with them. I'm talking Josh Allen regression, the Ravens and Urban Meyer sucking, and the crumbling of King Henry's constitutional monarchy and Jameis Winston MVP candidate. Plus, I've got some juicy NFL headlines for the week. Woo! Let's get sports. Hey, if you never want to see me slick my hair back again, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by Manscaped.com/goodsports. Manscaped offers you the best tools and liquid formulations for the big three odor zones: body, balls, and butt. These concoctions and advancements in below-the-belt grooming are all included in the Perfect Package 4.0 from Manscaped. In addition to the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray, you get the king of body hair trimmers, the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 is an electric, waterproof trimmer with advanced skin-safe technology which reduces nicks and cuts in the nether region, aka your wiener hairs. Plus, it's got a travel lock feature, so your trimmer will never go off in your luggage. So right now you can click my link in the description or go to manscaped.com/goodsports to get 20% off, plus free shipping, plus 2 free gifts, the Shed travel bag, and the best anti-chafing boxer briefs I've ever pulled over my buttocks. Manscaped, the perfect tools for your family of jewels. All right, halfway through the week, we've got NFL headlines. Running back Raheem Mostert will undergo season-ending knee surgery. The 49ers have signed former Lions running back Johnson, nice little pickup, but they'll mainly be relying on Elijah Mitchell, who ran for 100 yards and a touchdown against the Lions. Here's the only thing that'll make me worried about the 49ers run game. If Kyle Shanahan has season-ending brain surgery. Aaron Rodgers revealed on Pat McAfee's show that his first interception against the Saints
was entirely due to the double nut shot I took.
A double nut shot, also my go-to order at Starbucks. But it's also a pretty good excuse for throwing a pick, if you ask me. That said, now every team in the league knows Aaron Rodgers' one weakness: his testicles. Diving into college football for a second, I have something truly amazing. Oh my God, I love this. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at why Nick Saban as a coach is so successful. Here are some of Nick Saban's favorite coaching sayings.
He always talking about touch D's or you know, suck on D's or all that.
If this is true, one day Gronk will become the greatest coach in college football history, far surpassing Nick Saban. Josh Gordon has completed his NFL monitored treatment program and is waiting for final approval to return to the league from Commissioner Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell, of course, will have to review the results of the program and the NFLPA's recommendation which they have given for Josh, but the big hurdle here will be whether or not Goodell can get the child tax credit for all of the damn babysitting Josh Gordon will require. Speaking of the child tax credit, Phillip Rivers just moved into the top 10 for richest people on earth, according to Forbes magazine. And finally, Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy is believed to be emerging as the leading man to fill the head coaching job at USC. Bieniemy has been a popular name in NFL head coaching searches, but despite the huge numbers his offense has put up recently, he hasn't gotten the job. He can probably thank the ugly branch that is Matt Nagy from the Andy Reid coaching tree, but with the USC job opening up, this confirms that he will be fighting Urban Meyer to the death, live on pay-per-view. Main event will still be Jake or Logan Paul fighting someone they know they can beat. Headlines. All right, the main segment here, we are doing Overreactions. It's a brand new segment. Nobody's ever done this before. It's an original idea. Basically, I'm going to present a take that I've heard in the last couple of days and tell you whether I think it's an overreaction or a proper reaction due to last week's games. 1 week of games. So let's start with the man I currently most look like, Aaron Rodgers. The overreaction? Aaron Rodgers is bad. Aaron Rodgers is old. Aaron Rodgers is terrible. Well, I am reminded of a very famous Aaron Rodgers quote. Remax. Rodgers' #1 trusted realtor service. Seriously, if you follow Aaron Rodgers on Instagram, all he posts are ads for watches. Or did he say relax? I can't remember, but Aaron Rodgers is going to have the biggest bounce back game of the week against the Lions. This narrative will be dead. Next overreaction, Urban Meyer will go one and done. Now this one gained a lot of traction after seeing the Jags get their doors kicked in by the Texans, combined with the USC firing of their head coach, leaving open one of the most desirable positions in college football. Now we all witnessed Bobby Petrino pretend to be the coach of the Atlanta Falcons for a year until the Arkansas job opened up, which led him to scurry away in the middle of the night. Do I think though that Urban Meyer has more integrity than Petrino? Barely. But yes. I mean, Urban Meyer isn't even talking to the Broncos media ahead of the game this week because he's so laser focused on losing again. Something coaches almost always do, they always talk to the local media. I think Meyer will have a rough first season. Think about leaving, but ultimately come back and give it another go. I think his job is safe with the Jags. Even Nick Saban lasted 2 years in the NFL, so he's gotta make it that far, right? Next overreaction, Derrick Henry washed up. Well, look at the last 2 games Derrick Henry has played. If you combined his numbers against the Ravens and the Cardinals, you're looking at 35 carries for 98 yards and 0 touchdowns. Not very impressive, especially against the Cards defense that was 25th in yards per carry last year. Now maybe that defense is simply improved up front with the additions of Zaven Collins and JJ Watt, or maybe the wheels are starting to fall off for Henry. Now I only think this is a slight overreaction. Derrick Henry is going into the season without offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, who didn't really look good in his head coaching debut in Atlanta, and the carries are really starting to rack up for the 27-year-old running back. Henry's touches have increased every single year. 123, 187, 230, 321, and 397 in 2020. That type of workload can break a man. Also, the Titans line played like shit, specifically their best player, Taylor Lewan. But Henry didn't have a touchdown until week 3 last season. If you go back to 2019, Henry didn't get his first 100-yard game until week 4 and still finished with 1,500 rushing yards. So he has a history of starting off a bit slow. Now, I don't think Derrick Henry will suddenly be ineffective, but I think the days of the ultra unstoppably dominant Derrick Henry going for 2,000 yards, yeah, those are coming to an end. Now he'll just be a top 5 back in the NFL like all those other scrubs. Next, overreaction. Jameis Winston will end up with more MVP votes than Aaron Rodgers. Now, I think anything is possible. If nothing else, because the MVP award is not just stats driven, it's also narrative driven. And Rodgers' behavior during the offseason will get people turning on him, especially if he doesn't turn a 180 from how he played against the Saints. I also don't think this look is doing him it's not doing me any favors either, Jesus Christ. That's not better. Fuck. Meanwhile, though, I think Jameis Winston is in one of the more favorable situations in the league with the right head coach, and people will be eager to vote for him as long as someone else doesn't run away with the award. Kyler Murray. Now, I predicted Josh Allen would win MVP before the season, so I'll need to slither out of that one if he can't turn things around, but here's why Jameis will never win MVP. He wouldn't be capable of delivering a coherent speech at the award ceremony. Also, after reviewing that game Jameis had the fewest passing yards of any QB who started an entire game week 1. Now, I've shit on Patrick Mahomes for having touchdown passes that look like this, the shovel to Kamara. That counts as a touchdown pass. So really, Jameis, in my opinion, threw 4. But mostly, I'm just not sure he can keep playing this safe dink and dunk type of game through the entire season. It's not in his nature. That's like asking Drew Brees to start a TikTok to promote his announcing gig. Plus, Taysom Hill will take away some of those key touchdown stats that will handcuff Winston. The Baltimore Ravens will miss the playoffs in a crowded AFC. A couple nights ago, the Ravens and the Raiders had a marathon battle to see who could snatch defeat away from the jaws of victory. And it turns out the Ravens out-Raidered the Raiders, allowing a last-second game-tying field goal, squandering a gift interception, fumbling away a chance to win, and Marlon Humphrey bizarrely giving up while the ball was still in the air against Zay Jones on the game-winning touchdown. I don't think it's an overreaction to say this team will miss the playoffs. They had one of the most nightmarish starts to the season, losing J.K. Dobbins, Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, and Marcus Peters. Those are key players. And now, with this gift-wrapped win turning into a loss, I think this just might not be their year. I mean, they're already competing in a very tough division, where the Bengals actually look improved, and the Steelers and the Browns, those are 4 really tough games. Plus, the potential emergence of the Broncos and Chargers could make playoff spots in the AFC scarce. And finally, the biggest overreaction. Josh Allen will regress to pre-2020 form. There are a lot of potential outliers from the 2020 season worth talking about, and the primary one could end up being Josh Allen. Let's look through the last 3 games that Allen has played. Versus the Ravens, 86 passer rating, 5.6 yards per attempt. Versus the Chiefs, 80.8 passer rating, 6 yards per attempt. Versus the Steelers, 80 passer rating, 5.3 yards per attempt. Basically, after that Colts game in the wildcard round, Josh Allen has been playing like his 2019 season when he had an 86 passer rating with under 7 yards per attempt. It is a little concerning, but guess what? All 3 of the teams he's played have really good defenses. Steelers 3rd best defending the pass in 2020. Ravens 6th best. Chiefs 15th, but we all know how hard it is for any QB to keep up with their offense. There's a strong chance that Josh Allen will come back down to earth, but not back to where he was before 2020. His mechanics and footwork are too much improved for that to happen. The Bills have 2 tough matchups though coming up in Miami and Washington. Then they get the Texans, where I think Allen will fully rebound, but this narrative may continue if Miami plays as well defensively as they did last weekend against the Patriots. Week 5, Buffalo has a huge game against Kansas City. If the Bills are 1-4 or worse after that game, then we can have this conversation. But I don't see that happening. Maybe a split there, with the Chiefs game being the deciding factor. Carry on, Johnson. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. You can check out more videos, links in the description, video on the screen right now you can click and watch. We do power rankings, probably do these overreactions every Wednesday, Monday, game recaps.